The outer world, what many call the 3D reality, is nothing more than a shadow cast by your inner state of consciousness. It is a reflection, and a reflection has no life of its own. You cannot change a reflection by touching the mirror. You cannot rearrange the image without first changing the thing that stands before it. Yet this is precisely what most people attempt to do. They wrestle with circumstances. They try to manipulate people. They attempt to force the world of effect to yield to their will. But the outer world has no creative power. It is entirely dependent upon what you are imagining within. When you understand this, a great burden lifts from your shoulders. For you no longer need to struggle with appearances. You no longer need to fight the shadows on the wall. Instead, you go to the source. You go within. For it is within that the real work is done. The world you see is nothing more than the delayed echo of states you have previously occupied in imagination. What appears today is the outpicturing of yesterday's inner assumptions. The circumstances before you are not causes, they are results. They are shadows, and shadows cannot command the light that casts them. This is why I tell you that creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists. It exists now, not in some distant future, but in the infinite reality of consciousness. Every possible version of your life is already present as a state. Your task is not to create it. Your task is to select it. You select it by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is the secret. You do not wait for the world to change before you claim your desire. You claim it first in imagination. You feel the reality of it within yourself now, here, in this moment, before any evidence appears. Many people hesitate at this point. They say, but how can I feel something that has not yet happened? Yet this question reveals the misunderstanding. For imagination is the only reality. What you feel within is the cause. What you see without is the effect. So you must dare to assume that what you desire is already true. Not tomorrow, now. Feel the relief. Feel the gratitude. Feel the quiet certainty that comes when something long desired is already yours. And once you enter that feeling, remain faithful to it. The outer world will attempt to distract you. It will present circumstances that appear fixed. It will show delays, contradictions, and the events that seem to deny your desire. But these are only the lingering echoes of former states. They are the fading remnants of yesterday's imagination. They have no power unless you give them power by reacting to them. When you react to appearances with doubt or fear, you breathe life back into the old state. You feed the shadow instead of changing the light. So the discipline is simple. Ignore the evidence of the senses. Return to the inner conviction. Persist in the assumption. Now you may ask, How does one persist? It begins with a decision. Decide now that your inner world is the only creative power. Decide that what you assume within must objectify itself in time. When that decision is made, persistence becomes natural. Each night, as you grow drowsy and relaxed, enter what I call the state akin to sleep. In that gentle borderland between waking and sleep, the conscious mind grows quiet, and the deeper mind becomes receptive. It is here that imaginal acts impress themselves most deeply upon consciousness. Construct a simple scene, not a long drama, not a complicated story, a short moment that would naturally occur after your desire has already been fulfilled. See it. Hear it. Touch it. And most importantly, feel it. Let the joy of it be real. Let the relief wash through you as though the thing were already accomplished. Allow the scene to take on the tones of reality until it feels natural and familiar. This is not idle daydreaming. It is a creative act. You are planting a seed in the soil of consciousness. But planting the seed is not enough. You must water it with persistence. There will be moments when doubt attempts to return. The world may present something that appears contrary to your assumption. Old thoughts may arise and whisper that nothing has changed. When this happens, simply remind yourself, this is the old state fading away. It is powerless. Return again to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Do it quietly. Do it calmly. Return to it as often as necessary. For the unseen state you occupy is the only reality that matters. The moment you truly assume a state, the bridge of incidents begins to form. Events rearrange themselves. People move into new roles. Opportunities appear in ways you could never consciously plan. You do not need to force these events. They unfold naturally. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the state you have chosen. There will be days when the world appears unchanged, days when circumstances seem immovable. But this is precisely when persistence becomes most powerful. For the outer world has no choice but to reflect the state you consistently occupy within. When the inner state changes, the outer world must follow. It cannot do otherwise. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the operant power. Nothing appears in your experience that was not first imagined by you. Every event, every condition, every relationship is the outpicturing of a state of consciousness. So release blame. Release fear. Release the belief that something outside of you holds authority over your life. You hold the reins. If you can imagine your desire clearly and feel it as true, then it is already yours in consciousness. Persist in that knowing. Persist in that feeling. And in its appointed hour, the world will reveal what you have already claimed within. For creation is finished. The thing you desire already exists. It waits only for you to occupy the state in which it is natural. So ignore the shadows. Turn inward. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Persist in that assumption, and the world will inevitably reflect the state you have chosen.